Wings of Liberty never lose a feather. Nah, you know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this? Who? Jack Burton. Me. Follow the leader. 1, 2, 3. She may be trapped.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Too Much CGI, the show where we talk all about pop culture geekery, both retro and today. If you were a kid in the 80s like I was, the kid in the late 80s like you were, Scott, then you're in our club. My name is Bill, as always with my friend Scott. How are you, sir?
Oh man, tis the season, busier than ever.
Yeah, man, me too. Super busy. I think we said that about the last show.
We did. It's not getting any better, man.
It's not supposed to, I think, until... Well, actually, right after Christmas, I know there's a lull.
Yeah.
Where almost nothing happens, except you return the gifts you didn't like.
But Bill likes all of his gifts. If anybody gives them, he doesn't want to disappoint anybody. He's keeping them all and cherishing each and every one.
With a big fake smile. I love these socks. Thank you for the underwear. I needed some new ones.
Oh, you made it? Oh, it's beautiful. Love how the colors don't match.
What are you trying to tell me? It's funny when you get like deodorant and toothpaste and you're like, what are you trying to tell me, you son of a bitch?
Yeah, that's like a real personal gift.
Hey, everybody, quick reminder so we can keep on going with the show and get all the housekeeping out of the way. We'd love to get reviewed. Reviews for us matter, right? They help us with the algorithms. You know all about it. We talk about it every episode. Made it easy for you. Go to ratethispodcast.com/toomuchcgi and it'll show you where you can rate us. It actually figures out what you're already logged into and makes it so simple. So if you don't mind, that would be awesome.
The algorithm will help bring in some new friends, but we'd also like to hear from your friends. So friends of friends. So do your job. Tell one person. Let's help grow this thing.
This is everybody's duty.
Duty.
Even if you don't listen to the show, you have to tell somebody. We're just not sure how to make that happen yet.
Working on it.
Man, I'll tell you, even though I was busy, there's a lot going on in pop culture. But I got one question for you. When did Godzilla all of a sudden show up everywhere?
I don't know.
There is a Godzilla show, which I'm watching, which I like. There is that Godzilla Zero that's doing incredibly well overseas. And then all of a sudden, there's a new trailer for Godzilla-Verse Kong.
Right. I saw that.
Where Godzilla is running. And the whole internet's up in arms. Everybody's talking about Godzilla. Are they the same Godzillas? Do they fit in together? No idea.
Is the Godzilla world the thing where it's licensed to so many people that there's just fragmented and shards and it just doesn't make sense?
It feels that way. It feels like that we're looking at different versions. I'm not so sure that the version that I'm watching on TV is tied to Godzilla and Kong. I think it's tied to the first Godzilla, the one made by the guy who did Rogue One. I like him. What's his name? I can't remember. We'll call him Phil McCracken till I figure it out. It's a good director. So the first Godzilla movie that came out, when I say first, I mean first in that new series where he looks the way he looks now, right, was actually a very good movie.
Yeah.
Are you a Godzilla fan?
Not really. And I was going to ask you for some help with this because I remember watching something. I think it was the trailer, but it could have been an overseas trailer for this Godzilla Zero. I remember seeing something here recently where Godzilla had like purple neon looking electric going through his spines on his back and down to his tail. Was that Kong versus Godzilla? Which is what I think it was, but that could have been Monarch. I don't know.
That's the new trailer that just dropped.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought I saw.
Where Godzilla's running.
Yes.
Like at the end, it looks like an Avengers team up. Like they're just running.
Dude, you know what I thought it was? I thought it was it looked like Power Rangers. Like they were like Megazords.
Yeah, because they were all neon. It was flashy. It was very weird.
Yeah.
Very disconcerting.
To answer your question, I'm not a huge Godzilla fan. Like I don't know all the lore. I didn't see all the new ones that came out over the past, 10 years here. Maybe the last one I saw was the one with the director you're talking about.
Well, I'm going to admit that I am a huge Godzilla fan. Ever since being a kid growing up, I always talk about how I like to sit in front of the Channel 17 TV in Philadelphia and watch whatever came on, whether it was some samurai movie or some really cheesy, Charles Bronson movie or Godzilla or any one of those giant monsters running around a Tokyo city. I love them all. And they came out with Godzilla in 1984. When that movie came out, which was an American Godzilla, I was hooked. I fell in love with 1984's Godzilla.
Yeah,
Did you ever see that one?
I did. Yeah, I liked the stuff back when I was a kid. There was even a Godzilla cartoon for a while, I remember, but like a Saturday morning cartoon. I think we talked about that on like Forgotten Cartoons. You
Yeah.
brought that one up. I did like that, but I feel like what we have now is not what that was. Like it doesn't give me the same feeling.
Well, I like the take of that very first movie. Gareth Edwards, that's his name. It just came to me. Because he was bringing Godzilla in as a almost like the earth is dirty. This thing comes up to clean the earth. There's monsters. This thing now comes up. It's sorry. It doesn't mean to be stepping on your buildings, but it doesn't know any better. Like it's Mother Nature cleaning the earth. And this series continues on with that sort of spirit.
Okay.
So I kind of like that general idea. And in certain animals, these things called they're kaijus, whatever they are, these
Kaiju.
giant monsters.
Yes.
Some become friendly, some don't. That's how it used to be. I never really understood the storylines in the old black and white Tokyo ones, but they seem to be doing the same sort of thing. Like they have a Rodan now, they have Mothra, they're bringing in some of those old characters that I know.
Yeah.
So I kind of like Godzilla, and I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it. But if you push it too far with this too much CGI stuff like they did with the purple tail and the running Godzilla, like that just seems like, oh no, you're losing the thing that's great about it.
I always felt that the black and white ones, the story was like an anti-nuclear war and anti-nuclear energy kind of movement because it was what we were doing to the natural environment around us with our technology. And Godzilla was coming up to put a stop to that, which is why he destroyed the big city. But you're right. The newer things was almost like Godzilla was coming about to stop these bad monsters, to almost bring about like a homeostasis and almost bring balance to the kaiju world. And then he would go back into the ocean until needed the next time.
I like in one of the movies, and I can't remember, man, they all start to bleed together after a while. But one of them introduces this idea that there's tunnels through the earth and Godzilla just travels through them to get to wherever he needs to get to real fast. So he just kind of pops up when he's needed. Remember he had it was only in the cartoon and the old black and white Godzilla shows. They had Godzuki, the little baby
Godzuki the
Godzilla.
Sun.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that part till you talked about it in that one show. Yeah. That was fantastic.
I know for a fact the version, whichever one this Godzilla-Verse Kong is, where Godzilla runs, that seems like the kind of thing where they're going to be like, we got to work Godzuki into this. And it's going to go the complete wrong way. Go back to the other version. The TV version, that feels like the first movie. That feels really well grounded. It's got Kurt Russell in it. He's got his son also playing Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
Right? Wyatt Russell played, what was the name of that character in Falcon and Winter Soldier? He played the U.S. agent.
Oh, yes.
Remember that guy? The other Captain America? That was actually Kurt Russell's
Oh,
son.
I didn't know that.
So Kurt Russell's son is in this, and it's amazing how much they look like each other and how their mannerisms are the same. So the other cool thing about this show is it is definitely a love letter to Kurt Russell as an action star in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that he says, it just sounds like the same Jack from
Who's Jack Burton?
yeah.
Jack.
All right.
Burton.
Well, what are we gonna do now? Time to wrap up this dog and pony show.
When some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against a barroom wall, and he looks you crooked in the eye, and he asks you if you've paid your dues. Well, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir. The check is in the mail.
And I was thinking about it, I was like, how did he learn to be that character? Because that character sounds like David Lee Roth, doesn't it? It's like only the two guys in the world who sound like that is Jack Burton and David Lee Roth. It's an interesting character. So it's fun to see him, sort of do that again in this new Godzilla role.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you went back to that style. I do enjoy that.
I've been thinking a lot about Chevy Chase, so I made a new useless pop knowledge video, right? A new little video series we're trying on the YouTubes to try to attract some people.
Yeah.
And seems to have taken, and it's all like 400 some looks already, and thing just came out. I guess people care about Chevy Chase.
I didn't even see it yet.
No?
I will check it out as soon as we wrap this, but I watched Crispin Glover. I watched your other short. I did not see Chevy Chase.
More to come. I'm going to try to do one a week or two a week, or to be realistic, one every 3 months. And it's something else that I read this week that I thought was pretty cool. Are you familiar at all with this term, invisible CGI?
No.
Actually, before we move on to that story, I had another story up that didn't make the news. Did you know that Kurt Russell made a secret cameo in Forrest Gump? This is breaking news. It's just been revealed that he was in Forrest Gump.
I had no idea. Is he like one of the runner extras in the background?
There's a scene I don't really remember where Forrest Gump was a kid
Mhm.
and he met Elvis and he must have said something to Elvis to get Elvis to go on stage and become the Elvis,
Oh,
right? It was one of those gags.
Yeah.
I don't remember that scene,
I don't either.
but I guess the fake Elvis that was sitting there going, well, should I, sing like this? I want for the money. Right? That guy was Kurt Russell, the voice. They just dubbed in Kurt Russell doing an Elvis impression.
Really?
Yep, there you go. Now you know.
Did he play Elvis someplace else? I'm trying to think of. Like the first thing I thought of was like 3,000 Miles to Graceland. Was he in that? I know that was Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
He was in that too.
I think he was.
He was the other guy.
Yeah, he's got some kind of Elvis interest. Like he's hung out with Elvis. He was a little kid actor.
Yeah, I know.
Like I remember him on Gilligan's Island playing a little kid running around the island.
Well, here's a fun fact. Walter Elias Disney, Walt Disney himself, his last words were Kurt Russell.
Are you kidding?
Swear to God.
Why?
Nobody really knows, but Kurt Russell was in a few Walt Disney live action movies back in the day, right before Walt passed. So I don't know if he was naming him as like the star of the future, or he could have been saying, Kurt Russell, don't hire that kid anymore. Nobody really knows, but his last words were Kurt Russell.
Maybe he was like saying, hurt muscle. Like he needed you to like rub his,
He had a
ankle or
cramp.
something. He pulled him up. Yeah, a little Charlie horse. Hurt muscle. Kurt Russell. All right, make that kid a star. All right. Well, anyway, back to my other story. So there's something coming out of Screen Rant. The title is Trust Me, They Are There. Netflix's movie Invisible CGI celebrated by director with VFX video. That sounds like a mouthful. It's one of the worst written headlines I've ever seen. So this movie comes out and the directors are like, we used invisible CGI. Well, what's invisible CGI? Well, it's the idea that we're still using CGI, just like Oppenheimer used CGI, even though the director was running around saying we didn't make this explosion with CGI. They kind of did.
Mhm.
So they made it with practical effects and touched it up with CGI. So that's basically what these directors, J.A. Bayona, director of Society of the Snow, and Invisible. So, they're kind of bragging about this new concept. And really, I read this and I was like, this is all I've been saying. This is all I want to see. Do CGI sparingly so that it doesn't get in the way, right? Use practical effects. When people are actually manipulating something on the screen, use a practical effect when you can. Use CGI when it's matte painting stuff. Use CGI when you're trying to build a world that you just can't build in real life, but get as close to what you can in practical. And I think you get better results, hands down. And as I watch some of these movies, especially the latest ones that are just pure CGI, we were talking about Indiana Jones, I'm to the point now where I know it's a green screen. I know it's a big 100-yard studio with that, green screen up on the wall or the LCD, scenes running behind it and they're playing in the scenes. I forget what that new technique is called.
Like the mapping.
Yeah. But I could tell they're just not doing the real old fashioned thing of being on location with practical, props and effects. And you can't fake that look.
Right.
Am I wrong? Am I the only one who can see through these special effects?
No. And it is pretty obvious. And I feel that maybe they're hoping that if that's all they give us, we'll just look through it and we'll look past it because it's all we're going to know. But it's not working for me.
Me either. I mean, it's absolutely killed the Marvel Cinematic Universe because they thought, hey, we can do this cheaper and faster. Well, that didn't work. And even if you did pull it off better, I think people were getting burned out on too much CGI.
You did it again!
I also feel that they were relying too much on the CGI and not enough on the actual depth of the story. It's the old summer blockbuster mentality. Like, well, we're going to wow them. Independence Day with Will Smith. We're going to wow them by blowing up all the different, world monuments. And that's going to just really shock them in that trailer. And the story was not great.
One of these YouTube videos flipped by. It was the 5 most terrifying scenes on film. And one was Jurassic Park. And when that dinosaur is looking into that car, when the girl and the boy are in there,
Yeah.
I mean, that's real. There's no CGI there. That is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever done it quite as well. They said, how about Jaws? I'm like, there you go. Absolutely terrifying. If that was a CGI shark, like, come on, can it work? What CGI has ever moved you the way Jaws did or the way that dinosaur did in Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Don't we deserve you going back to quality? Don't we deserve you going back to better storytelling? Yeah, I think we do.
I love the behind the film how the model of the T Rex you're talking about, they didn't know that the foam was going to absorb the water from the rain, and it became like way too heavy for the motors and things inside of it, the robotics, to actually lift its head. So having it crash through the top of that car was very natural.
Yeah, the part where the kids are on their backs in the moonroof
Yeah.
glass.
Yep.
Yeah, that thing came down on them hard. They said the screams from the kids were real because the robot came down so heavy and so fast that they were almost crushed by it.
Yeah. The water added like an
Oof.
extra 200 pounds of weight because the foam just sucked it up like a sponge and nobody knew it was going to happen that way. But it was a life size T Rex. Like that was pretty wild.
Oh, here's one more quick little thing that was on my mind. I'm going to put this into the what the fuck of the week category. Did you hear that Adam Driver was interviewed recently and he was talking about Kylo Ren? And they said, was the arc of Kylo Ren, was that planned from the beginning? Are you familiar? Because you're the big Star Wars fan. I want to make sure you've heard this.
Actually, Adam Driver worked this into his monologue of Saturday Night Live. He was playing a piano and just telling stories and singing a Christmas song was his thing. And he would play a few chords and then he'd stop and be like, you know what? People come up to me and they say, you killed Han Solo. And I say, I didn't kill Han Solo. Wokeness killed Han Solo. And he just went back to playing his song. So that's where he first talked about it. But then he also, after that thing on Saturday Night Live, after that monologue, he was interviewed saying, like, was this planned all along? Was this part of the story? And he was like, not when I signed on.
The latter part's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. So it says here, when Driver first signed on to play Kylo Ren, director J.J. Abrams told him Kylo would go the opposite journey of Darth Vader, starting out conflicted and becoming more committed to the dark side by the end. And they just took the easy way out, didn't they? They just reversed it for the feels.
Yep. And it felt like it was going that way after the first two movies. It wasn't until the end where they brought him back to the light.
Actually, that's one of the only things I did like about that second movie, The Last Jedi. He was pretty ferocious when they were doing that like snow fight right before.
When he was walking through that forest.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of the forest. I was thinking about that desert that looks like snow. Remember, it was like a snow planet with like red dust. The AT-ATs were coming. It was where the final fight
Oh, it
with
was
Luke
the salt
and Kylo
plains.
was.
The salt plains there when
Salt.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Kylo Ren was fucking mad. I was like, that's an Anakin turn. That's a heel turn. Look. So it did seem like they were still going that way in that movie.
Yeah.
So it was the third movie where I guess they were like, all right, we got to quickly rewrite this whole thing. I guess I was always assuming he was going to turn out good. He's Ben Solo. He's Han's kid.
Yeah.
That's just the normal good feels ending that we get in Star Wars. So I'm surprised that he was going to be the new big bad and killed off as the big bad.
Yeah. Would have been good.
And then they forced Snoke in. Like, how did that even make sense?
It didn't. And as soon as he was in, he was out. You know what I mean? Like, and that wasn't even his redemption because he still fought Rey after that. Well, I guess he didn't. No, they fought the Praetorian Guards after that. I don't know, man. The sequel trilogy is not something I spent much time thinking about.
Yeah, it's such a shame. I know I'm so stupid for it, but I get like angry about it. I'm like, man, I'm never gonna get the movies I wanted. That was my shot to get like
Yeah, like I never want to lament them for what they're not. I'll take them for what they are, but I'm not putting that much energy into them. You know, they're never going to recreate the original trilogy for me.
Well, Scott, I hear we have some mail.
Yes, yes, some threatening mail.
Threatening mail. He didn't mail us arsenic or anything, did he?
No. I heard from Brother Rob, who is my next door neighbor, and he is a huge fan of exterior illumination. He said our last episode here talking about Christmas then and now and how outside Christmas decoration has taken a turn for the worse. He's a purist. He loves his blow molds. He loves his giant C9 light bulbs. While taking out the recycling this week, he told me that next year he's going to decorate my entire house in C9 light bulbs since he knows I'm such a big fan of them. And I said, well, I am. I mean, compared to like fucking inflatable things in the front yard, I'm a huge fan of C9s. So, Yeah, he said that was his favorite episode so far, and to keep up the good work.
That'll be the funniest thing if you come home and all of a sudden your house has been light bulbed by somebody else.
I said, now if you do different colors, that's where I draw the line. I'm a white light guy. He's a colored light guy. It's cool. Room for everybody, you know. I also have a follow-up story for you, sir.
Ooh.
During our favorite NES video game conversation, I brought up RC Pro-Am, and you brought up this hypothetical RC Pro-Am type boat race that you
Yeah.
couldn't remember.
Yes. The fever dream.
No, I found it. It's real.
What is it?
Eliminator Boat Duel.
What?
It's called Eliminator Boat Duel. A very late entry into the library of the NES. It was a red boat and a blue boat and an orange boat, and you race speedboats. And if you hit like a floating barrel of toxic waste, it gave you a speed boost. And there were ramps, and you had to avoid certain things. It was basically RC Pro-Am on the water, much like you described it.
Wow. Wow. It does not look like what I remember. I'm looking at the cover. I'm almost going to say, I think this isn't it.
Really?
I don't think this is it.
Dude, when I stumbled across this, I was like, oh, we got a story throwback because I think I found it. The only thing that even came close. First of all, terrible name for a game. Eliminator Boat Duel.
Yeah, this is definitely not it.
Shit. Well, then you dreamt the whole thing up.
Because I remember thinking it was made by Pro-Am. Pro-Am was made by Rare. Rare.
Oh,
I remember that name.
Rare made all the Donkey Kong Country stuff.
Yeah. So let me quickly go through, look at the titles. Hot diggity.
Hot diggity.
Cobra Triangle, it's called, Scott. Cobra Triangle. Cobra Triangle is a 1989 racing vehicular combat video game developed by Rare and released by Nintendo. The player controls a weapon-equipped speedboat through 25 levels. Objectives include winning races, saving swimmers, and defusing bombs. The game also includes power-ups and is displayed from a 3D isometric perspective with automatic scrolling that follows the player's movement. This was a lot in a Nintendo game.
This sounds like it would have been terrible.
But I remember getting so addicted to it. Sometimes playing these games, you could lock in this weird way. And like you were in the game. Like it felt like, right? It felt like VR, but it wasn't VR. But you could get so psychologically locked into some games. This was one of them for me.
Wow.
I just remember feeling good playing this game. It felt great. I wonder now if I could go play it, would I have anywhere near the same, appreciation or enjoyment from it? Because now that I play these games that are lo-fi, I don't enjoy them at all.
I've never even heard of Cobra Triangle. That's crazy.
I powered up the game station that I have downstairs, which is an old Xbox 360 that my buddy put the hard drive in, put all the Nintendo games on it. Red Ring of Death.
No.
Red Ring of Death. Can you believe it?
Oh, shit. Is it maybe that it's just not plugged in the right way? Because that gives you the red ring, too.
I don't know. I'll try replugging it in, but I just remember the Red Ring of Death was, you're screwed. You're done. You just dropped $350 of hard-earned cash on a fucking lemon.
That was more of a death sentence for the Xbox 360. For the original Xbox, the red ring usually meant that, like, the plugs weren't in all the way, or the power plug wasn't plugged in, or it was a warning. It wasn't instant death the way it was for the 360.
The system I'm talking about has the big X on the top.
That's the original Xbox.
Not the 360.
The 360 was white, and you could stand it vertical or lay it flat.
Well, then what was the one?
The Xbox One's the sequel to the 360.
What did that look like?
It looks a lot like the 360, only it was sleeker with harder edges. It wasn't as curved. But the one you had, the emulator, was black with the bright fluorescent green Xbox logo and the giant X on top of it.
Yeah, it looks like a console wearing like an X-Men uniform.
Kind of, yeah. But that was, like, on that one, the red ring of death didn't necessarily mean complete death.
Oh, then there's a chance to play some Cobra Triangle.
I sure hope so.
How about it? We found it. I've thought about this a couple times, but every time I check Google, I was like, NES boat game. And Google was like, you're an idiot.
And I'll tell you, man, you talk about getting into the zone with some of these video games, even while doing editing and finding like old video game sound effects. Holy shit, man. Even just hearing the music sometimes puts me like right back into it.
The music doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. but just seeing them. I went down a rabbit hole the other day. I was watching all these old Commodore 64 games, like just a video, and it was a 10-second clip of each, and it just unlocked something in me that I just haven't felt since I was a kid. And that's so strange.
Now, like for that system, the music wouldn't have done it for me because the music was shit. But like a lot of the 8-bit and the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System games, like that's almost just like your synthwave. Yeah, it's a lot like that.
Second year in a row, my Spotify Wrapped's like synthwave favorite.
Classic rock here, man.
Number 2 was synthwave. Number 3 was synthwave. Number 4 was Weird Al Yankovic.
I'm surprised that weird Halloween music didn't make the top 3.
No, I get the same top 3: synthwave, Frank Zappa, and then some mystery guitar band that I'm into for the year.
Well, despite how busy I've been here with all these Christmas chores and whatnot, and illnesses and concerts and nutcrackers and everything else that goes along with the holiday season, still made time to make room for a new release from What Makes This Song Stink. Mr. Pat Finnerty did an excellent trashing of a Jason Aldean song that I'd never heard of, but apparently is really controversial because of a stupid, shitty video.
These videos this guy puts out, I'm glad he's back. I missed him. But I had said to you, all right, I'll give it a shot, but it might have been too long. His break might have been too long. And I got into it and I was like, I don't know. Am I ready for this guy again? But I'm really glad I stayed in.
He set the hook, huh?
Oh, it's an hour long.
Yeah.
First off, I don't know how he makes these hour-long YouTube videos. These things take so long to edit. And he's hysterical, and he's out in the street doing things. So his videos are even longer to make.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me or you doing one of these? Like, we have jobs. I got to get paid.
Oh, man.
You know? And then we throw this thing on the internet and nobody sees it, but he does it and everybody sees it. And it's deserved. It's hysterically funny.
He's great, man. Like I didn't realize how much I missed him until he came back, you know? It was only episode 8 of What Makes This Song Stink. And for people that don't know, he will take a song, a classic song, maybe a shitty 90s song. Like I said, this here was this Jason Aldean, Try That in a Small Town song. And he will tell you what makes this song stink, both musically, culturally. He hits on everything. You know, usually he's not picking on the artists and what they look like or anything like that. Usually he'll break it down like actually, you know, by chords and like by how easy it is to play. And like he'll go out to a stranger at like a Wawa, like convenience store, and be like, here, can you play these 3 notes in a row? And he'll get like some rando stranger to play like the exact same riff of like a Chili Pepper song or something. Like, look, you phoned it in. We know you phoned it in. It's not a great song. This is why this song stinks. But this one here, there's a lot of controversy about this song. Again, I didn't even know this song. This was not on my radar. Country music's not my thing. But really just talked about how, like, you know, there's so much controversy in this. People are saying it's racist and people are saying it's not racist. And he's like, look, I'm not here to say it is or it isn't. I'm just here to say musically, it's a shitty song. And here's why. And maybe we're more alike than we are different, whether you come from a city or you come from a small town. And he can take hotbed issues. And I really like this about this episode. He took a pretty controversial thing and kind of just gave it like a can't we all get along spin, all while still kind of shitting on people that were coming to its defense. Looking at you, Ted Nugent.
Well, towards the end, you may not have gotten all the way through.
Oh,
Towards
I got
the
all
end,
the way through.
you saw what side he was on for sure.
The gloves were off towards the end. And I actually watched a live retrospective by him last night on YouTube. He was on maybe for about an hour and a half, just talking to fans and talking about, hey, it's great to be back and shit like that. And he was like, you know what? Usually I don't pick on artists and what they look like or what, you know, personally what they are. But he was like, I was like, you know, fuck this guy. And like, he was just saying like, yeah, usually that's not the road I go down, but this time it was no holds barred. And welcome back, Pat Finnerty.
I wasn't familiar with the song. I really don't know Jason Aldean. I don't know what the hell that is. A Jason Aldean. Country singer. All that country music now sounds absolutely terrible. None of it sounds like Johnny Cash or Willie Nelson. It just sounds like this weird homogenized. It's like hard rock used to be. Just sounds like collective soul. But now it's been the same bullshit is now happening in country. And when he said, Pat Finnerty said, he's like, listen, if you play these chords, and he slowed it down and he played it again a little slower and he started singing Kryptonite by Three Doors Down. He's like, we just figured it out. It's fucking
It's
Kryptonite.
Kryptonite.
It's the same bullshit formula. And now I'm like, that's why I hate this music, because it's just as cheesy and lame as commercial rock was in the 2000s. It just moved over to country. And he pointed that out for me. And I was like, yep, hate this even more now.
Yeah. And he was like, you want to do like a protest song? You would do an anthem song. Listen to Ohio by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And he actually started singing Crosby, Stills, and Nash, or he actually started singing like the shitty lyrics from this song over top of Ohio. And it was just hilarious to see him do that kind of thing. I also love like, he'll do like drive-bys on some other people. Like he was hitting on like Honky Tonk Badonkadonk just because he wasn't going to like donate an entire fucking episode to Honky Tonk Badonkadonk. But it was like, this is another example of how like, this isn't Willie Nelson. This isn't Merle Haggard. This is bullshit, stupid pop music, bad fucking songs. But like, here's an honorable mention for this dickhead. And I just love it.
So Honky Tonk Badonkadonk, I've never heard of that until this video. I think I enjoyed that the most, that there's a song out there called Honky Tonk Badonkadonk, and it did well. And people seem to like it.
It's right up there with She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy and Red Solo Cup. I also love how he points out that, like, these songs are written by teams of like 4 writers and 6 producers. And meanwhile, he plays like one of the most like iconic Willie Nelson songs. How many guys took to write that song? 1. His name was Willie Nelson.
Yeah. Now you need a team of writers to write Vanilla. Yeah, that Honky Tonk Badonkadonk. And then he's tried to make some witty lines and nothing was working for me. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I was like, it can't be real. It's got to be a parody. I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it's a real trending song. Like it was a commercial release.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah, I have really lost the thread with country music. I love Willie Nelson. I love good old, renegade country.
Sure.
But I have completely lost the thread.
This ain't it.
Remember when we were in Nashville, we ran into each other?
Oh, yeah.
There was still like a lot of rock going on in Nashville. I guess I was assuming that I guess country now was pushing the envelope a little bit. It seemed like there was good music going on the street, but holy shit, the commercial shit is 100% the same.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say we were drinking at fucking Kid Rock's Badass American Honky Tonk. That's what it was called. Fuck that guy.
I was so drunk. By the time I seen you, I was already 8 hours in at Tootsie's. Oof.
Yeah, definitely not what it used to be. But hey, I got something here for you, Bill.
Like a present?
A present for everyone. Surprise game.
Hot damn. I like a good surprise game.
So yeah, like I said, this is gonna drop a week before Christmas. Despite being all busy and trying to get my shopping done and gifts wrapped, going out to see Santa and making my list, checking it twice, put together a surprise game here for you. I was having a hard time coming up with some content for this week. And sat back and thought, well, what would Bill do? And I was inspired by your Halloween movie game, where you gave me 4 or 5 different real life horror movies, and then you had ChatGPT write one up for you. I had to guess which one was fake. Which, of course, was Revenge of the Toast or something.
Yeah, you did very good.
I took a page out of your book. I did not watch these movies. I pulled some synopses right off of IMDb. First thing I did was I was like, okay, what are some new, terrible 2023 releases on the Hallmark channel? Pulled them, looked them up on IMDb, jotted down a synopsis. By the way, I don't know who's writing synopses on IMDb, but I don't know if English is their first language, but they're written terribly. So I had to doctor them up a little bit. Still kept the gist of it.
So do you think there's any correlation between poorly written reviews and the audience of people that watch these Hallmark movies? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not going to point fingers. I know I have family and relation that watch Hallmark. I'm just saying they're not well represented in the comprehension of the English language.
Gotcha.
And to that end, not to hurt myself, pat my own back here too hard, I think the one I wrote, because I didn't have ChatGTP write mine, Bill. You know I'm old school. I put pen to paper. I crafted what could be a pretty goddamn good Hallmark Christmas movie.
All right. and I have to guess which one you came up with.
You have to guess which one of these is fake. Now, you can ask questions. I may not have answers, but I'm going to read through these. They're in no particular order. I'll give you the title. I'll give you a synopsis. Save your thoughts till the end. First up, we have Mystic Christmas. Marine biologist Dr. Juniper Jones, a self admitted introvert, has never stayed in one place for long, preferring to see the world, thus needing to make the most of her time in each locale. In the approach to Christmas, she plans to head to Scandinavia for the holiday to see the Northern Lights. Her best friend, Candace Adams of the Mystic Aquarium in Mystic, Connecticut, offers her a position at the aquarium as they're currently in need of a head marine biologist. Once in Mystic, Juniper learns that Candace's brother Sawyer still lives there. Only having met him once 10 years ago at Candace's wedding, Juniper and Sawyer had a memorable couple of days until a miscommunication led to them breaking contact. While Juniper and Sawyer still think about each other, they each blame the other for the way things ended between them. Sawyer owns a pizza parlor, often talks about seeing the world, but feels it's never a good time to leave Mystic. Can the two overcome their differences and make a relationship work? Perhaps Christmas magic can help them see things from the other's point of view.
I mean, that sounds
Sounds pretty schlocky, right?
exactly what I would think a Hallmark movie would be. Right down to the name Mystic.
Could be real. I could have fucking put this together. You never know.
All right. Are you able to tell me any celebrities in it? That might help tip me off. Might give me some help. Is Lori Loughlin in it?
There are no celebrities in any of these movies.
No Candace Cameron?
I didn't see anyone I recognized in the top billings of any of these movies on IMDb.
All right.
Number 2, Christmas Island. Pilot Kate Gabriel is on her first probational flight working for a wealthy couple, Thomas and Helen Sharp. One of the factors for them hiring her is her flexibility in her schedule, as she has no personal commitments and no family that has to take her time. This flight on December 20th is from Los Angeles to Switzerland, where the Sharps will be spending their holidays. The flight doesn't go as planned, as a storm lands all mid-Atlantic flights. The only available airport is a small coastal Nova Scotian community called Christmas Island. With it being the busy Christmas season, Kate and the Sharps end up being hosted by the town's mayor and her brother, an air traffic controller named Oliver. Oliver and Kate are already at odds, as he's the controller responsible for her flight being grounded. The duration of the grounding is unknown. Wanting to make a good impression on the Sharps, Kate offers to help them in whatever way she can while they're stuck on Christmas Island. This consists of entertaining their 15-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son, who both wish their parents had more time for family and were less distracted by their work. To help with this task, Kate feels she has to enlist the help of the town's resident Christmas expert, Oliver. Will their collective time together drive them crazy or bring them closer together under the magic of Christmas?
Wow. It's a lot. My first thought was this is a high budget, elaborate porn, until you got to the part about the kids, and I was like, oh, that cancels that. No, that's not porn. Damn.
Yeah.
I was distracted for a moment thinking about how amazing it would be to be so wealthy that I'd have to find somebody who could drop life to get the plane over to me so I could fly wherever I want to go. Like, there's a way to be that rich. That would be insane.
That is the real world for some people.
I want that bad. Really, really bad. Is that shallow of me? I don't want somebody else to feel that guilt. I'll go be the rich guy. I don't mind.
All right, number 3. We have Holiday Heat Wave. New Hampshire native and local weather reporter Ashley looks forward to the winter season and weather each year. Her love of the Christmas holiday knows no bounds, and her hometown of Bristol is straight out of a Norman Rockwell painting. Ashley's Christmas spirit is put to the test when her producer Trevor informs her they are being put on an assignment in Phoenix, Arizona. Can Trevor help Ashley find the true meaning of the season when the forecast for snow is 0%?
I thought this was porn too. Holiday Heat Wave. I was like, oh yeah, I think I saw that on Cinemax. I think it had Shannon Tweed in it.
Ay, ay, ay. All right. Are you ready for number 4? You got your thoughts about you. I have two more. This one and one more.
All right.
All right. Number 4, we have the Santa Summit. Single 30-somethings, Jordan, Ava, and Stella are best friends, and all three teach at Garden City Collegiate. Just before the Christmas break, Jordan believes that they've each lost their mojo as they've not done anything exciting together in years. Jordan's still recovering from a breakup with her long-term boyfriend and is hurt that he's already moved on. Shy Ava has pined over a colleague but hasn't been able to tell him that she has feelings for him. Stella still laments being transferred from the music department to the English department. To get their groove back, Jordan convinces her besties, albeit reluctantly, to attend the Santa Summit, a big party where attendees dress up as Santa and party it up at different events and venues across the city. While at the summit, each has an encounter with a potential paramour while dressed in their Santa costumes, including full beards and mustaches. After being separated during the festival's events, and only knowing sparse pieces of information about the other, each goes on a mission to locate the other in a sea of several hundred Santas, not knowing the other's name or what he or she looks like behind the costume. Will Santa bring each romance this year?
That was another mouthful. A lot going on at the Santa Summit.
Yeah, it sure
You know, I
was.
got to tell you, all of these I think you didn't make up, and this one especially because I just can't see you, writing to get his mojo back. I like that line. They're all trying to get their mojo back, or something like that. Mojo.
Last one. Never been Christ. CHRIS apostrophe D. Christ. It's terrible. Naomi and Liz have been best friends since childhood, accompanying each other from grade school to high school and onto the professional world, where they co-founded a tech company. The friends even bought houses next door to each other. Naomi promised her mom she would come home for the holidays. Out of support, Liz accompanies Naomi, and they both head to their old hometown. There they run into Chris Silver, the most attractive guy from high school, whom both Liz and Naomi admired from afar. Now they are confronted not only with Chris, but also with their old classmates. But things have changed since their high school days.
I hope that's not the real one because the title's just too good. It's too good. It's got to be the winner. I want it to win just on the title alone.
So you're going to guess the last one.
Well, I need to think this through. This is hard.
It is.
So I don't know a ton about the Hallmark Channel. Are they very religious?
Very religious, very Christian, very wholesome, very saccharine. All the things I hate about a Christmas movie.
Well, I don't think you told me any stories there that fall outside of that scope. That's the problem. So I don't even think that's going to be of any help.
It's not. I wrote it just in line with everything else that's on here.
All right. Well, I have to go with Never Been Christ. That needs to be the one. Never Been Christed. Never Been Christed.
Never Been Christ is 100% real.
Wow.
Would you like to take another guess?
I hope that it's got to be the not the Fire Island one. What was the Fire, the Sizzle? What would you call that one?
Oh, Holiday Heatwave.
Yeah.
Holiday Heatwave it was. I put that one together myself.
That was good. That was Cinemax. Yeah, that was good.
I threw this together in about 5 minutes with the help of Jenna, my wife. And I started off, I was like, all right, if I'm writing one of these, what's the most typical white girl name you can think of? And she was like, well, Ashley. I was like, Ashley it is. And she's dating who? Like Trevor, of course.
Casting was amazing. Your show is amazing. It's the best thing I've ever seen on TV.
Well, there you have it, man.
That
This
was
doesn't
fun.
work out and my real job doesn't work out. Look out, Hallmark Channel. I'm coming to write for you.
I see now why everyone's afraid of AI.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
This will get you a silver medal.
Yeah, it's good to win. It's good to win. I'm just going to delete the wrong guess in edit. Well, my dogs are back here making tons of noise, telling me that we have about 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes till dinner time. I like to blame the dogs. It's really me making the noise. So why don't we move right into the news? After years of resisting, Netflix releases viewing statistics for nearly all titles. How about that? They're going to start being transparent. I wonder if that was one of the terms of the whole strike.
What did we learn? Has it happened yet?
Well, let me give you the summary. Thank you, AI. After years of keeping its viewer data secret, Netflix is releasing statistics on the number of viewing hours for nearly all movies and shows on its service. Netflix published its first What We Watched report, ranking titles by total hours viewed in the past 6 months. They will release updated reports every 6 months. Co-CEO Ted Sarandos said Netflix's protectiveness around its data has led to distrust, especially in the creative community. The viewing hour statistics provide insight into what content is most popular on Netflix and how shows/movies are received relative to each other. This increased transparency from Netflix comes after years of keeping its data closely guarded as proprietary and competitive information. Releasing the data is seen as a way for Netflix to give creators insight into how their content performs. But I still can't believe it wasn't forced by this strike.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, they're not just coming out with this. I definitely agree with the distrust piece of it though. Like, what's the secret? What are you hiding? Like why not share it? But they wouldn't have done this willingly without somebody forcing their hand.
yeah, I think they want to still be distrustful. They don't want any of this. They want to keep on not letting you into the boardroom to know how much money these things are really making, so they can put them in their pockets.
Right?
Yeah, I mean that's business. That's how it's always done. It's not right, but it's not illegal. It's one of those things. It's like it's not illegal. It's just immoral.
Yeah. I mean, how can you negotiate percentages if you don't know percentages of what?
There could be an argument you give away that information, you're probably giving away a lot of financial information. Financial information could be, sort of deconstructed to figure out what your strategies are possibly. You don't want to give away what you're doing as Netflix to Max or somebody else, especially if you have some good ideas that are making you guys money.
So you think it would be more proprietary information because of competitors?
I don't know, just a guess. But I got to be honest. When I'm going through Netflix and it's like fourth most popular, Scary Movie 2, like what? I want to know why. Why? Why are you saying that this is the fourth most popular? Is everybody seeing this? There's no way.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's a surge in Scary Movie 2. You ever seen like really weird things start trending on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah, I
know
have.
what data they're using to surface that. Can't be just views. I mean,
30 people this week fell asleep watching Scary Movie 2.
yeah, it can't be like hundreds of thousands of people all of a sudden at 8:15 on a Tuesday decide to put on Scary Movie 2 and suddenly now it's trending. So I'd love to know
Yeah.
more about how they do all that.
See, I would see them being more secretive about that kind of information because of investors. Like if you see how much like a top show is actually making and how much a top show is actually being watched, and you think that's not really a whole lot. Maybe an investor is less likely to buy that stock.
You mean somebody holding securities like a stock?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean like an investor. Yeah.
So you'll get the earnings calls. The earnings calls will just tell you profit and
Oh,
all.
that's true. They have to keep that out
Yeah,
there.
so they'll get some of that, but you just don't know how to divide that down to all the different pieces of content that are put out. And that's what I think they're
Right.
giving visibility on.
Yeah, that could be. They seem to be like green light everything, and we'll see. Some of this bullshit has to make money, right? But they feel like they green light everything. That's like the running joke with Netflix.
Oh, I think those days are done.
Yeah, I think so too. They got to keep it closer to the belt, tighten
Yeah.
that up.
All these things are hurting. Speaking of streaming, Disney Plus Hulu app will leapfrog Netflix on popularity and volume in the US. Do you believe that?
I kind of do. This is when they merge the two of them together.
Yeah, but Hulu is that popular?
I don't know, man. That's what I use for live TV.
It's not really on my radar. I never realized Hulu was that big. Like Hulu to me is Fubo, maybe bigger.
Now I'm using Hulu to watch like all the Eagles games, all my sports. It's my live TV for everything.
Wow. I didn't even know it did all that. That's how out of
Yeah.
touch I am with this. I don't look at anything local. I get my football games through an app called Fubo. So now I know to get it through Hulu.
Well, I mean Hulu. You have to have Hulu plus live TV. Like you have to have that subscription.
Oh, the
So it's like
add-on.
$70 a month. Yeah, it's the add-on. So basically, like when it comes to the streaming live cable game, you got Hulu and you have YouTube Live. Like those are like the two main ones that people use.
I use Hulu so infrequently that one time I logged on and my password was all wrong. And I was like, oh, let me force my password to be reset. So I finally worked my way in and somebody had hacked me. They'd gotten in, they changed my name from Bill to Drank Mank. drank Mank. Nothing else happened. Like, if they got my credit card, nothing's happened to my credit card. This happened years ago. They broke in. They probably, I'm sure, these things know that people are breaking in, so they don't make the credit card information visible. So I don't know what they wanted.
Right.
They didn't look at anything. They didn't watch anything. They just changed my name to Drank Mank. So today, in my Hulu app, my name is Drank Mank.
You never changed it back?
Never even bothered. I thought that was so cool. Drank Mank. I didn't like being hacked, but I did like Drank Mank.
All right.
According to a new report from Ampere Analysis, the combined Disney Plus and Hulu app will overtake Netflix in popularity and volume in the U.S. 1/3 of the 100 most popular Q3 titles in their home market were on Disney Plus, which was 17, and Hulu, which was 16, more than Netflix's 29 titles. In terms of volume, the Disney Plus Hulu app will have 9,578 titles, second only to Amazon Prime Video. This is over 1,000 more titles than Netflix. The Disney Plus Hulu app will feature top franchises like Star Wars and Pixar movies, along with the Hulu hits like Only Murders in the Building. So that's still Only Murders in the Building. Like, that's still the only thing I know Hulu for. That's so crazy how out of touch I am. 81% of the most popular titles will be Disney's strong children, families, and sci-fi tentpole releases. Hulu will complement with content like crime, romance, and horror. The apps will combine into one viewing experience next March. Disney is currently in the process of buying Comcast's remaining stake in Hulu to become a full owner.
So March. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've been using Hulu as a different app the seldom times I use it. Can I get to Hulu in my Disney Plus app? I don't think I've ever noticed that.
No, you can't.
Okay.
Not right now.
So there's some more cannibalization going on.
Yep.
We're getting some MCU news. New Black Panther Disney Plus show gets officially announced.
Well, there was another thing I thought. I didn't know you were going to go to Black Panther with this. They've released a trailer for the next What If.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah, the next What If cartoon is going to have more about Loki the god at the end of time.
So they changed that ending pretty fast in Loki. We've talked about it now. It's leaking out that, yeah, they pretty much did change it at the last minute. So how much of What If really is built around that? Like, it's probably loosely based on Loki. I saw that same thing.
Probably.
It's like, oh, yeah, Loki did all this. So now we're getting What If. There's no way, production-wise, they could have turned around the script of an animated cartoon that fast because
No.
you got to remake some
I was
of
just going
those.
to say,
Yeah.
the lead time for a cartoon is way high. So this was already probably in the can, probably just waiting for voice work long before Loki got hodgepodge together the way that MCU does shit.
Yeah. And I like their animation. So when I first saw this, I went, okay, I'm into this.
Yeah.
I didn't love that last Wakanda Forever movie. As much as I liked Black Panther, everybody loved that last movie. I thought it was kind of dull.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to hijack. What is the new Black Panther news?
So it says Marvel Studios has officially announced a new Black Panther-focused Disney Plus series titled Eyes of Wakanda. The animated series will follow Wakandan warriors as they travel the world, retrieving dangerous vibranium artifacts before they fall into the wrong hands. It was announced along with sneak peeks at other upcoming Marvel animation series like X-Men 97, right? You know about that?
Yeah.
And Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man during a premiere event. So I guess there's a new Spider-Man cartoon coming. It's unclear if this will tie into Ryan Coogler's separately announced Wakanda live-action series, or if it will be definitively canon within the mainstream MCU timeline. You know what? So I just read that, and I don't remember seeing that in the first read-through. So there's already a announced Wakanda live-action series, and now they're announcing a Wakanda cartoon.
I think I missed while you were reading this thing you're talking about was going to be animated. I just thought this was the live action one that was coming out.
Yeah, it's animated. Boy, maybe they're not slowing down. Oh, no.
Guess not. Well, now they're just going to overtax the animation houses where they overtax the special effects houses.
Yeah, that's probably the plan. We beat one industry into submission. Let's beat another one. Well, the next thing I got here is not really a news article item. It's a trailer announcement. Did you see? I got to know what you think of this. Did you see the Axel F trailer?
I did.
What do you think?
It felt like Beverly Hills Cop. I don't know. What I saw was fun. Do I need it? No. Will I watch it? Absolutely.
You will? Like, I hated every bit of it. None of it felt right.
But you didn't like the original movies either. You didn't really watch Beverly Hills Cop.
I know enough to know that this is just a cash grab.
It is, but I don't hate this as much as I hate Roadhouse.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if the story's good, it'll save it. And a lot of these things that he's been doing, the story's good. Like Coming to America 2 that Eddie Murphy put out was good. So he's got a good track record with his comeback here. He's not making
Dolomite.
Yeah.
Dolomite was great.
He's not making Pluto Nash and Boomerang now. Like he's making some good stuff. But I saw the trailer and I was just like, oh no. Just at least they didn't have Judge Reinhold. Oh no, there's Judge Reinhold. Like they did everything.
See, I would have been mad if Judge Reinhold wasn't there.
I thought of you right away because I know you're a big Eddie Murphy fan. And so's my wife. And you guys love Coming to America. And I was like, I wonder if he's excited about this. So I showed Amy and she's like, I don't know what to think of it. It's like, okay. It just, I don't know. It doesn't look special.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tolerant of it. I'm glad that they're not trying to have him just be like a lot younger than I like that he aged the way Eddie Murphy aged in this story. You know what I mean? Like he's not Axel Foley of like coming right off the heels of Beverly Hills Cop 3, you know?
Doesn't it suck that when we age, we get wide? Isn't it weird seeing a wide Eddie Murphy?
I mean, granted, he looks more like one of his characters from Meet the Clumps or the Nutty Professor than he did look like Axel Foley.
Yeah.
There was a little something there, but hey, I mean, that's life.
Yeah, but his head is wider. That's just age. People, men widen.
It's true.
Look at your skull now compared to what your skull looked like in elementary school.
This is why I buy adjustable hats and
We
not
like to
fitted
teach you
ones.
things here at the show. There you go. Your head widens as you get older, men. Well, that's my last news item.
Well, that means the end of this show.
So when are we going to be
2023?
back?
Well, after this episode, next week's going to be Christmas, and I don't feel like working on Christmas. I think I worked enough this Christmas season. We're going to take off for the Christmas holiday, be back with what could either be our greatest or our darkest New Year's Day show. For this one, I encourage fan participation.
Well, first, I want you all to know that I would have been here on Christmas doing a show. I love you more. But yeah, this idea that Scott pitched, this is going to be fun. So, a little tickle, a little tickle.
Also, he loves you more, but he really doesn't like Christmas at all. So he'd do anything to get out of having to open up gifts in front of people. So take that for what it is.
Cringy.
So let me ask you this before we sign off. Is there anything you're asking Santa for this year?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And that's scary. Because I don't know what I'm going to get.
Well, I asked a few people for a few things, and if I was a good boy this year and everything goes as planned, this should be the last show that I have to steal my son's desk chair to podcast from. So I should be getting my very own, very comfortable desk chair to have here in the studio.
Why aren't you getting a podcast chair?
I don't know what a podcast chair is.
You better do some research. You don't want a desk chair. You want a podcast chair.
Hey, man, desk chair got me this far. I'm just happy to be out of the closet.
Congratulations.
And for people that are just tuning in now, out of the closet, I used to record from my walk-in closet. This isn't like a sexual coming out thing. This is, I now sit in the corner of my room, which is my studio, but it's no longer my walk-in closet.
I own the last pass at editing. I could cut right before you made the explanation, and it would be the funniest thing. And you would call and yell at me, and it would be so funny. Oh.
I wouldn't yell. I hope Santa brings you everything you didn't ask for. And for everybody else out there listening, hope you've been good this year, and Santa takes care of you. We'll see you in the new year. Thanks for listening.
Don't shoot your eye out.
It's all in the reflexes.